Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wake Up with Casey. I'm Kimberly, and this is my first launching of my talk show, and I have an amazing guest. Her name is Corryn Kivett, and she is a high performance coach. She went from a corporate finance arena to becoming a certified NLP Master Coach. And what she does is she takes personal development and implements it into your business, what it is that you're passionate about, and gives you the tools and resources and everything to help you be the best version of yourself and your excellence of who you are, what you do, and what you want to do. And I am so excited to have her. Let's welcome Corryn. Hello, Corryn. Unmute your mic. There, can you hear me? You're unmuted.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Oh, what happened? I lost you. Oh, this is so much fun. Oh, we lost her, but we're going to find her again. I promise you. This is just, the new way of doing talk shows. And yeah, it's going to be fun. Never a dull moment with me. I keep telling my partner that. My kids say it's never a dull moment. But oh my gosh, I can't wait for her to come back. Ah, here we go. She's back. We lost her. She's found. Connect your mic cam. Oh no. Let's see if I can. I'll resend. I will resend a link. Well, we're going to try this again. I'm going to try to invite her back and see. Things like this happen in video and audio world. You just got to troubleshoot and keep going. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Hello, Corryn. Hello. There she is. Let's see if we could get her back on. She's just a lovely person, and she has a lot to share. So as soon as she comes back, which I think she just did, hopefully, yes. Add to stream.
Oh, I hope that this works. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yes,
Yes,
I can hear you.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Talk about determination.
Yeah.
And we're still live, but I'm
resilient.
like, hey, this is what happens. And a lot of people don't understand the background of how to put a production together like this.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. There's a lot of behind the scenes. Got to work
yes,
on your toes. You got to be on your toes.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like entrepreneurship, right?
Yes.
Oh,
I
that's
am
awesome.
so happy. You look like you just graduated high school and just started college.
I
You are
know.
so gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. I'm turning 30 this year, so excited to be
You
30.
don't even look it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So, Corryn, I briefly shared with the audience that you were in
Mhm.
the corporate, finance arena, and
Mhm.
you became a certified NLP Master Coach.
Mhm.
Now, can you give us a little background about yourself and whatnot to share with us?
Most definitely. So I am from San Diego, born and raised from sunny San Diego, California. And my family, they're all business owners and entrepreneurs. So my mom was a single mom, raised me, and was a hairstylist. And my grandfather owned multiple different hair salons. So I have been raised by business owners, entrepreneurs. I remember sweeping hair in the hair salon, taking orders from clients. My grandfather always had me answering the phone, writing in appointments. And, I saw the ups and downs of running your own business, and especially a family owned business. I mean, it's rough. And as I was growing up, my mom and my grandfather told me to climb the corporate ladder. I'm grateful that my grandfather had me listening to Earl Nightingale and personal development since I was 12 years old. So I've always been goal focused and goal oriented. And they told me climb the corporate ladder, go for the salary, the stability, the benefits, do what you're quote unquote supposed to do, right? Follow that path. And I did what I was told. So I graduated top of my class from San Diego State University. I studied finance. I've always enjoyed numbers, so decided to study finance. I did take entrepreneurship classes. And then I ended up going into the corporate ladder. I went into financial advising, and a little while after being in the corporate role, I knew that in order for me to move forward, I needed to have the certifications under my belt. I was fresh out of college, so I needed to start getting those certifications. And I became a certified financial planner. So as soon as I decided that I was going to be a wealth advisor, I became a CFP, certified financial planner. And then after that, I got picked up by Merrill Lynch. And looking back, I realized that I was just checking off the boxes. I was just doing the things that you're supposed to do. I ended up working at Merrill Lynch. I wanted the high rise. I wanted to work in downtown San Diego. I wanted the salary, the benefits, all of the things, right, that they tell you to chase. And I realized that I was checking off all these boxes. However, deep down, I wasn't really living the life that I wanted. I was just going, I was just going through the motions. And it was a really rough time for me. And I woke up and I realized, I'm not living my life to the fullest. I'm doing what I should be doing, and that's not me. And I'm done doing that. So I quit my career and had zero plan, no idea what I was going to do. What I knew is where you go, you follow. So I knew that I needed to get really clear on what was going on between my ears, my mindset, because I know that it's 80% mindset. And I started to unravel and uncover those beliefs, the thought patterns, the underneath stuff, those layers that I didn't realize were there, that were shaping my reality and keeping me from knowing who I truly was. So that's where I invested in neurolinguistics programming, and I started peeling back those layers and learning more about myself and about others and how we communicate with the world. And now I get to help other business owners peel back those layers and really utilize the incredible mindset that we have, the incredible mind that we have, to create the life and business that they really desire deep down, that they want.
Wow, that is impressive. So let me ask you something, in your process of your transformation of your life and the things that
Mm-hmm.
you realized, how can you share some tips with us on and in the process of that?
Yeah. So the first wake up call that I had was when I was studying and took the certified financial planning exam. When I passed, initially I was very excited, right? I studied my butt off for 6 months. It was a lot of work. However, I was really only excited to tell my my family. I wanted them to be proud of me. I wasn't really excited for me. I didn't really know why I did it. And that was my first hint of, I don't think I'm in this for the right reasons. And that was the first click. And I think I pushed that away, right? I didn't want to deal with it right then. I didn't want to deal with it right there. And then that's when I said yes to Merrill Lynch. And then I started realizing, I'm not loving my life at all. And when I look in the mirror, like, I'm not loving what I see back. And that's where I started to actually deal with what was going on. So in order for me to leave and quit, it took a while. I mean, it had been a while for me to build up the courage to do that. So I talk about this term of courage stacking. And, someone had asked me, how did you build up that courage? And I think that we do courageous things every day. And a lot of times people focus so much on results and outcomes. And I say focus on the courage of what you're doing and stack that courage. Because when you're in entrepreneurship or just in life in general, like, we're going to be doing things that are scary. Maybe it's having a conversation that we don't want to have. Maybe it's taking the leap from corporate. Maybe it's telling someone I love you, whatever it is, right? We're doing things that we might initially be like, oh, I don't want to do that. But when you can stack the courage and you can continuously keep getting out of your comfort zone, you look back and you're like, okay, I did that once before, I can do it again. And I like the term stacking courage.
Well, to me, Corryn, it's almost like fear, which to me in the acronym is false. Let's see. Fear is false evidence appearing real.
Right.
And it's what we create with the not only the thought, but that emotion, that feeling, that energy. And then once we get through it, it's like, oh wow, that wasn't so bad after all.
Right. Yeah. It's never as bad as we think that it is. It really isn't. And I can't remember who says this, but it's the term, but did you die? Like, but did you did it, but did you die? And it's like, no, you're still alive. You're okay. You're stronger, actually. And I think that when we can start, I actually just started a new book about getting intimate with fear. I think that when we can start to get intimate with that fear, that's really, we're gaining our power. That's what it is. And we're honing in our power.
Yeah. And honestly, being a human being, because I do talk on my podcast that we're spiritual beings, sexual beings inside of a human being. And the two emotions is love and fear. Love sponsors fear, fear sponsors love. And it's like a vicious cycle that's been going on for history.
Yeah.
So what's the one thing that you still do today that keeps you inspired with your future goals, and what can you share with us to do as well?
That's a great question. One thing that I do consistently is meditate. Meditation and visualization. And, the practice of meditating, simply doing it is the practice. There's no other outcome or agenda. It's doing it and being there and really working on being present with where I'm at in my life. For a while, it was always, where am I going? Where am I going? Where am I going? That future. And yes, have a vision. Yes, see that future. And all we have is right now. So by meditating and being present, it's this feeling of space. And really being.
So do you do that like first thing in the morning to help your day get going, set the vibes, the energy, the intentions out?
I do. I do it first thing in the morning. And anytime during the day that I feel that I need it, if I'm out of balance or if I have back-to-back calls, I'll find a period where I can be silent, breathe, and simply be for even 5 to 10 minutes. because that will reset my entire frequency and really put me back on my agenda in my energy.
Wow. But let me ask you something. What inspired you to become an NLP certified master coach? What happened?
It found me.
How
It
did that
definitely
show
found
up?
me. Yeah. So, like I mentioned, my grandfather had me listening to Earl Nightingale since I was 12. So, Earl Nightingale, Les Brown, and Jim Rohn have been my top three gentlemen that I've been listening to for years. And then I would throw in Tony Robbins in there every once in a while as well. When I quit my corporate career, I went on a journey of self-discovery, and I actually went through a yoga teacher training. So I went through a yoga teacher training. I traveled to Thailand, and I ended up picking up, I've always been so intrigued by consciousness, meditating, the mind, spirituality, science. And I picked up Joe Dispenza's book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Have you read that book?
Yes, I
It's
listened to it on my
amazing.
audio.
It's amazing. And I
It is.
love Joe Dispenza. I do his meditations. I will be going to one of his retreats. His work is absolutely phenomenal. I ended up
Girlfriend,
picking
let's
that
go
book.
together.
Yeah, let's go. Here we go. I ended up picking that book. I believe it was November and December of 2018. And I quit my corporate career in July of 2018. And as soon as I picked it up, I knew that it was going to shift everything. So I read the book, and then I was invited by a friend to work at a boot camp that she was hosting. She needed someone to help her with the setup, with the behind the scenes, everything. And I told her, of course, I'll help her. And when I was there, I didn't know at the time, but her and a woman by the name of Stacey O'Byrne were going to be running this success boot camp. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to come to this boot camp, and obviously I'm working. However, I get to sit there and I get to listen. I'm going to go in with an open mind, like just be so present and take in whatever it is that I need to hear that day. And when I heard Stacey speaking, she was speaking the same language as Jim Rohn, as Les Brown, as Earl Nightingale, as Bob Proctor, as Tony Robbins. And I knew that those were universal principles that I could apply in my life and begin to shift. That's what I knew. So I said, you know what? I'm going to invest in myself and I'm going to do it. And that's honestly how NLP found me. If I wouldn't have gone to that boot camp, I would not be here today. So thank you, universe, for bringing me that. And once I got my taste of NLP, I went all the way through. And that's when I became a trainer as well.
Wow. It sounds like more of a synchronizations that just
Mm-hmm.
little synchronies that just
Mm-hmm.
come. And it's like when you open yourself up, you
Mm-hmm.
start paying more attention. Wouldn't you agree?
Definitely. And, when you look back, the dots start to align. Going forward, though, we never know how the dots are going to align. So I think that if we can open up to the idea of we have no idea how it's going to map out. However, when we look back, it's going to make sense. That subtle
Mm-hmm.
shift opens up so much possibility and so much trust in yourself and where you're going. So yeah, NLP ended up finding me.
Yeah. And like Dr. Joe Dispenza always says,
Mm-hmm.
embrace the unknown.
Yes. Well,
Love
everything is
the
known.
unknown.
Yes,
Yeah.
everything. And when I think that there's a lot of fear in the unknown, and I think that we're almost trained for that, right? Because people don't talk about embracing the unknown and being in the now. It's not talked about too frequently until you dive in and have conversations like this, right? And then you find your
Right.
people, and then you have conversations like this, and it's amazing. So the more that we can get intimate with our relationship with the unknown, the more we start to, I think, gain our power and be with it.
Wow. So let me ask you another question. What was the hardest experience that you've had, that you went through, that you learned from, and what can you share with others to help them?
The hardest experience that I went through was when I was 13 and my father passed away suddenly. That That was definitely the hardest experience that I've been through. And there's no manual for it. They don't give you a manual for life. And especially when you're 13. There's no manual for it. And when I was working corporate, the real aha that I got was my father passed away when he was 36 and I was 13 at the time. And 36 felt so far away. Like that felt so old. Like so many years. And as I was getting older, I realized how young he really was, how much of his life that he didn't get to live. And when I remember sitting in my corporate office and just thinking, am I living the life that I really, really want? Like my life to the fullest? And the real answer was no. And I realized that I wouldn't be making my dad proud. And the toughest thing that I went through, to answer your question, was definitely his passing. And I'm grateful that I have a younger brother. So before he passed, my brother was born. So I do have my younger brother. And, I think if you want to call it a tip, the only tip that I have is there's no right way to do it. There's no manual. Whatever you go through it, and it's totally fine. There's no one way to do it. There's no one way to grieve. It's messy. It's uncomfortable. You grow from it. And there are still times where I'm still processing things like that. That was a huge moment in my life. And that's okay. It's also okay to not be okay.
Yes.
And you will grow through it, and you're strong enough to grow through it.
And, since you're speaking of that, because I know, through limited beliefs, mental programming, emotional, energetic traumas, sometimes people hold on to that grief, which strengthens them.
Mm-hmm.
And what would you say to somebody that's still like grieving and mourning and not living their life?
That's a great question. And I didn't see, until I started doing this type of work, I didn't see how it was shaping my life, because we can't see our own blind spots, right? So I didn't see how his passing was shaping my today, because we can't see our own blind spots. That's what coaches are for. That's what, it's a mirror. So once I started to do the unraveling and seeing how it was showing up and how it was shaping me, I didn't even know it was there. So initially, I would say working with someone to be able to see the fact that you're grieving and allow you to grieve and allow you to experience those emotions, and also start to get the learnings of, when I was 13, I went through my father's death. Like, I'm strong because of that. I'm stronger because of that. And I get to get the learnings from that experience that are going to carry me forward. Because I started to realize that in the grieving and in continuously feeling this sense of loss, that I was doing a disservice to myself and also my dad. Really, I was. And when I finally got that, I was able to let go of whatever. I mean, there was anger, there was sadness, there was hurt, there was all of that. I was able to let go of that because I forgave myself, I forgave him, and I was able to let go of what was no longer serving me and begin to grab the learnings that were going to help me going forward.
Wow, I am so proud of you. You are doing amazing things. And you mentioned earlier that you got a book coming out. So I'd like for you to share, how can someone get a hold of you and get this book that you're going to have out, and provide, for your coaching services that you also provide, especially for these millennials.
Yeah. So Through my business is the Evolution Room. So through the Evolution Room, we do coaching and training. So I do in-person trainings as well for neurolinguistics programming in person in San Diego. If someone wants to get a hold of me, I'm on all of the social platforms under Corryn Kivett. You can also search Evolution Room as well, and my website will pop up, and I'm sure all of the other social platforms as well.
Wow. Corryn, it was a pleasure. And thank you for being my first guest. Even though we had obstacles, we conquered.
Yes,
This
ma'am.
was amazing talk. And I look forward to having you again on my show.
Thank you
I
so much
really
for having
do.
me. This has been an amazing conversation. I appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate you too. And you keep rocking, girl.
Right back at
Well,
you.
well, stay tuned for next Monday. More guests coming. This is Wake Up with KC. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I hope this episode helped you. Join me every Monday and you can reach out and say hey at wakeupwithkc@gmail.com. This is Wake Up with KC. Thank you for sharing your time with me. This is Wake Up with KC. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I hope this episode helped you. Join me every Monday and you can reach out and say hey at wakeupwithkc@gmail.com. Have an amazing week and talk to you next Monday for more amazing topics to share with you that you don't want to miss.